Good morning, Coach Coleman. Coach Monte Coleman from Arkansas Pine Bluff. The Golden Lions in action on Saturday against Langston University. That game's going to be in Little Rock, Arkansas. Kickoff is at 5 p.m. Coach, you want to tell us about your team coming up this year, both sides of the ball on offense and defense?
Well, right now, I feel like our football team is I know for a fact that we're ready to start hitting on ourselves. It's been a very tough training camp for us, but I think all the guys have matured and played well during training camp. Defensively, we've got a veteran football team. We've got 10 starters returning. We lost James Harrell, which was one of our starting corners last year, who signed a free agent with Detroit. But we got pretty much everybody else back. The problem with the defense right now, we do have some guys with some small boo-boos that has been sitting out of practice the last few days, but hopefully they'll be ready to go come September 1st. On offense, it's led by our quarterback. We did announce that Ben Anderson will be our starting quarterback. He was a redshirt freshman last year, doing spring ball and training camp. He's matured a lot. He's doing better things. He's not making a lot of the freshman mistakes like he did last year during training camp. So he will get the nod to lead our offense this year. But overall, as a team, I think we're a better football team than we were last year. We have learned a lot from last year, and we're just looking forward to playing games this year.
Coach Coleman, this is Luke Williams from the Black College Sports Page. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing fine. Last year you kind of got off to a bad start against this team. How much of your guys kind of looking at this as making amends against the Langston team that you lost to open the season?
Well, Luke, it's one of those deals where, when you turn the football over 5 times and 3 times in the red zone, it's hard to beat any team. Langston comes in with a very good, experienced football team. They played well last year. I felt like we played well enough to win, but unfortunately, with the turnovers and mistakes that we made, you can't win. So the team is looking at the outcome of the game last year, and there's a little fuel to the fire to saying that we can't have a repeat this year, and everything is really predicated on us not making the mistakes. I think we match up well against them, and if we can just be poised and not make the mistakes like we did last year, we should fare well against Langston.
It wasn't a matter last year of taking them lightly, was it?
No. I would never let my team take anybody lightly. It's a tough dog fight. We hadn't been very successful in history our first games for whatever reason. But as far as taking the team lightly, no, sir. We'll never do that.
And look, Coach, quiet as it's kept, you guys weren't very far from being in the mix last year for the championship. You think that your team is ready to take the next kind of step in terms of a SWAC title?
Well, I hope so. I do hope so. We did knock on the door, depending on other teams losing. If we'd handled our business during the year, we could have possibly been there. I think we were about 1 game out. We had a very bitter loss to Alabama A&M. Maybe if we won that football game, we could have possibly gone in. But, it is what it is. And I think we have matured as a football team, as a program, that we will hopefully be contenders from here on out.
And what's the thing you think this year that you've added or your players have added or are more conscious of that maybe can get you over the hump?
Well, I think the play of the quarterback, Ben Anderson, being young last year, made some mistakes that kept us from doing some of the things we wanted to do. We were very limited with him because of his youth. And this year, with a year under his belt and having a good spring and training camp, I think he's matured to the point that we can trust him a lot more than we did last year. And just overall, we were able to go out and get some offensive linemen, which we were short. We got better depth on the offensive line. We've got better speed at the receiver position. And the one thing that we've been consistent with since I've been coaching here is running backs, and we've got a good dose of running backs. And like I said earlier, we've got a veteran defense that's coming back. So I'm hoping that if you add all that together, that it gives us a formula for competing for the SWAC title.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Coach, Pine Bluff Commercial. Hey, for this year, what are the keys to beating Langston?
The keys this year is not just beating Langston, but beating all our opponents this year is playing consistent. We can't turn the football over. We've got to hold on to the football. We've got to be very smart in everything that we do. Can't give cheap touchdowns up like we did last year. And we just got to be a smart football team, and that's going to be the key, playing physical and being smart.
Right. And I know I've asked you this question about 5 or 6 times, but just to update, have you hired a new offensive line coach yet?
No, sir, not at this time. I have not.
Okay, right. And how much have you guys talked about not winning a season opener since 2004? I may have asked you that question before, but something that's got to be bugging you guys.
Well, I mentioned it in our meetings last week to the team that it's time to get off to a fast start, and that's one of our goals this year is to start fast, and it not just in ball games but for the season also. I think if we can win the first game from a psychological standpoint, then we have a slight edge from a team standpoint to play well because you taste victory, and hopefully you want to build off of it. So I want us to start off with a great win against Langston, and then just play hard every week after that.
Okay. Thank you. Hey, Coach, it's Troy at the Democrat Gazette.
Yes, sir. Hey.
You mentioned the injuries, and I noticed I think each one of your linebackers have sat out some scrimmages this year. Are they all ready to go? Do you expect them to play on Saturday?
Yes, I expect all 3 of them. They just have like little nagging injuries, and as a coach, I definitely want them to practice, but it's more important to have them ready for our season opener. So I made a coach's decision to sit them out, let them rest so their legs will be fresh, and hopefully be over the little boo-boos that they do have. And right now I do expect all of them to play come September 1st.
Do you expect any starters to be out, or do you expect to have everyone?
At this time, I should have everybody. I don't foresee any of the starters that we've got penciled in not starting the game against Langston.
Okay, cool. And then one more on Ben. He was saying the other day about his game against Langston last year. He threw those 3 interceptions. He said the third one he threw it and he went to the sidelines, and he's like, "What is this game?" I mean, and he didn't tell you guys that, but did you guys ever kind of during that game when he was struggling so much? I mean, maybe you had him and say maybe kind of made the wrong decision with him, or
I'm sorry, I didn't get the last part of your question, Troy.
You guys ever just kind of think, man, maybe we made the wrong decision with Ben, maybe he's just too young to be thrown out here so soon,
No, actually, Ben was our man. He went through spring with us. It was a heavy competition between him and C.J. Branch. We had a junior college guy, Watts, to come in, and he beat all of them out. So there was never a thought in our mind that we chose the wrong person for the job. It was just a matter he didn't have any SWAC hours. He'd never played a college football game before. And, you try to explain to the young men that when you practice, you try to play at a high tempo, but it's nothing compared to when you play in a game. And I think that was a reality for Ben. But I just think I'm thankful that he is our starter this year. He's got that 1 year under his belt, and he's actually had a very good training camp. He's finished up real good. He was the freshman of the year for the SWAC last year, and I look for him to continue to improve.
Thanks, Coach.
Final question for Coach Coleman. Okay, if that's all the questions for Coach Coleman, Coach would like to wish you luck this coming weekend. Once again, your kickoff time's at 5 o'clock, and you go out and get them, and we'll talk to you again next week.